Yo, my brothers, my sisters, and my ballers, welcome back to another match day of What's Football with our fans, with your favorite social football analyst, Tepiso Pizzi, aka Tepzoro. To the ballers passing by, I hope you like what you see because I surely like what I do. And make sure to join the returning ballers who continue to show me gang love and appreciation by liking, commenting, as well as to subscribe. The first leg of the Champions League semi-finals are out of the way. We saw a competitive game in Madrid, as well as a one-sided game in the Milan derby, which was the Italian-European derby in a way. The blue versus the red. Fortunately, because of it being a Champions League game, the split in the fans of home and away couldn't actually be 50-50. Usually with Serie A games, AC Milan, as well as the Inter Milan faithful are split 50-50, but with it being a UEFA match, it was 90-10, and we saw the Milan fans come out, displaying the tifos before kickoff. It was a majestic scene in the San Siro, and it's unfortunate they couldn't come with the result. Inter Milan got off to a fast start in scoring from the corner and doubling their lead shortly afterwards through Mkhitaryan. The AC Milan midfield wasn't there. It surely wasn't, It looked like there was a miss with Benacer not being there as he plays well with Tonali. Krunic wasn't able to step up. Tonali couldn't stamp his authority on the game. He only found his feet as the game went along into the second half. Diaz tried to make his marauding runs, but he was always there being tackled. Inter Milan's midfield was brilliant and even more amazing on the transition. At halftime, it could have been 4-0 to Inter Milan. Çalhanoğlu, as well as Mkhitaryan and Barella, were amazing as a midfield three. It goes to show that Barella really is underrated. Even without Brozovic there, he stepped up in being the main man in the midfield. Çalhanoğlu was unlucky to hit the post in the first half with the scores already at 2-0. And Mkhitaryan, showed that there's a sense of strength in depth with Inter Milan, with Mkhitaryan being a good option to call off the bench. They just started quicker, were better on the front foot, got the goals they needed, had a brilliant first half performance. It was unfortunate the penalty got overturned through VAR. If you look at it, there was contact on Lautaro Martinez, but then again, football is a contact sport and it was too soft. Then again, you could see AC Milan were in shambles. Simon Kjaer shouldn't be turned that easily, and a man like Tomori shouldn't be going to ground like that inside the box. He had a tough night out. Probably 50-50 with these duels against Edin Dzeko. Edin Dzeko won some, Tomori won some. It's unfortunate that in the big games with the whole world watching, Tomori just hasn't been able to live up to the occasion. We've seen how good he is for those viewers that watch Serie A. He was a mainstay in AC Milan's title charge last season with them claiming the title, and he's still been one of the best defenders, probably in the Serie A this season, in all honesty. But they just couldn't come out the gates against Inter Milan. Defensively, in the first half, Inter Milan was sound. Giroud couldn't get a sniff. As the game moved along, Stalemate started to warm up with the last 15 minutes of the first half, with him making his amazing runs past Denzel Dumfries, darting in behind Damian, but it just wasn't enough to, get a goal going into the halftime break. Obviously, you could see it during halftime. AC Milan was able to regroup. They started off the second half strong. They moved quite quickly. Tonali was able to carry the ball well, offload the ball well, giving good passes. He set up a great chance for Junior Messias on the right channel in behind Federico Di Marco. Early on in the second half, unfortunately, he couldn't get it past Onana as his shot went just wide, and all along, Milan just had to build into the game. With saying that, there were still chances on the transition from Inter Milan. Dzeko could have made it 3 in the second half. Although he scored a brilliant goal in the first half, bullying Calabria. He had an opportunity, one-on-one opportunity with Magnan to make it 3, but it just wouldn't go in. Tonali hit the pole later on in the second half, and it just showed on that specific night it was not AC Milan's night, you know. Inter Milan came into the game on an amazing run of form, you know, scoring goals, obliterating their opponents like Verona, passing Roma in the big games, beating Juventus in the Coppa del Rey semi-finals. They carried this form through into the Champions League semi-final first leg, and if there was an away goal rule, you may be saying that there is 1 foot in the final already for Inter Milan, you know. The Nerazzurri already produced a performance to take them to the final, but there's still another 90 minutes. Although now Inter Milan's fans will be showing up in the stands. You know, the tifos will be displayed in blue and black this time rather than red and black. And let's just see how early or how soon AC Milan can get a goal. We most likely will see Leao in the team setup or in the squad for the second leg. Hopefully he can start from the first minute with Stalemate coming off the right. Maybe Benacer may be back. We'll just have to wait and see. But in saying that, there's an encounter that's deadlocked going into the second leg. The Etihad Stadium will be the atmosphere and the stadium waiting to see how the Galacticos do against the citizens. Real Madrid showed up. Real Madrid showed up at the Santiago Bernabeu. You know, it was all City first 20-25 minutes, sharing the ball, moving the ball. But that's the performance we all expected, and Real Madrid were fine to just soak up the pressure, you know. The experience of Modric and Kroos showed in the midfield. Valverde was able to push the ball out and carry it out. Vinicius Jr. was amazing all night. In my opinion, he should have been man of the match, if not Camavinga, instead of De Bruyne. But we'll get to that, you know. It was a close encounter between him and Kyle Walker. I guess I'll say, you know, it's fair and square, you know. It's a tie with how they came out, you know. When he couldn't attack Kyle Walker, he'd dart infield, pass Rodrigo. If Bernardo comes to help, he'll pass him as well. Vinicius Jr. is just a lot to handle, you know. From the first 25 minutes, City knocked on that door, and through patience, it seemed like a goal would come. But against the run of play, amazing run through the transition, brilliant one touch around the corner from Modric with Rodri pressing him, and Camavinga set off. Setting off with Bernardo Silva not being able to catch him, entering the final third and slipping the ball into Vinicius for him to produce a crack of a finish. An amazing goal to break the deadlock in the semi-finals of the Champions League at the Santiago Bernabeu, you know. It was a moment in time, you know. A moment needed and produced by one of the best players in the world, you know. During that time, Rudiger had just been fending off Haaland, you know. They say Haaland can't play, you know. The main warrior was De Bruyne. And he kind of showed it against the run of play as well, you know. Second half, it was Madrid first 20 minutes, you know. City couldn't keep the ball. Madrid was having the ball. Madrid was producing attacks. Madrid was having chances, you know. Grealish was on the back foot with Carvajal pushing forward, even though I felt like Carvajal should have been tested way more by Grealish. Bernardo couldn't do anything. Rodrigo had to commit fouls. Gundogan was quite loose on the ball. Madrid was just in City's faces, you know. When City would get the ball, John Stone could normally move into midfield and drop back into defense with his auxiliary role. But then again, another moment of brilliance was produced by one of the best midfielders in the world, in KDB, unleashing a strike that Courtois couldn't stop. No keeper in the world would stop that strike. The technique was textbook from Kevin Ginger De Bruyne. And it was a goal that was needed to take a result to the Etihad Stadium, you know. If you had to pick one winner from the game, you'd probably say Real Madrid did more. And they did more in a manner that you wouldn't expect, because they actually had quite a great share of the ball against Man City. It wasn't just chances through the transition in the second half. There was well-worked chances with City having bodies behind the ball, but Madrid, there's something so amazing about Madrid's football. There's just fluidity between how players shift through the pitch and across positions. You know, Guardiola has he's position based, and there's a lot of rigidity in his system. You know, it's based on your positions, with you having a role within your positions. Whereas with Carlo Ancelotti's tactics at Real Madrid, it's all on the flow of play, you know, suck teams out. And the painful part is when Madrid gets a goal and take the lead, that team moves with momentum. That's why City had to produce a moment of brilliance, you know, to bring back the tie. There's no team that you don't want to go behind against, in Europe especially. And that team was Madrid, and City deserve a lot of credit, you know. Guardiola stuck with his guns, stuck with his starting lineup all through the 90 minutes, you know. And we'll just have to wait and see how the second leg goes down, whether there'll be any changes, and seeing how Pep's men can unlock Real Madrid, or will Real Madrid come out triumphing and on their road to Istanbul. With that being said, my ballers, I hope you like this match day of the first leg review of the Champions League semi-finals. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and until next time, my ballers, live long.